They are growing. They are growing. I can believe it. They look like babies, and I'm nurturing them. When I used to laugh, remember it was a whole gap. You know, see, it's slowly closing. See, it's slowly growing. And I'm telling you, God, God, the source. Let me tell you. I feel good today. Uh, I have plenty of rest. Uh, do lots of bubble baths, do my own pedicures, do my own facials. No makeup though. I do my facial. You know, I'm eating some salmon, pickles, bread, drinking water. You know, I need to find a gym so I can work out and get my body back. Um, I am eating lots of junk food, you know, to put on weight and put my energy, you know, my skin, you know, I feel all like a prune, dried up. It's terrible. So I'm having fun doing that, eating junk food, you know, all kinds. I like cupcakes. I like Chips Ahoy. Go ahead, a whole box, you know. So I'm enjoying eating, and the universe is telling me, yes, go ahead, eat everything you want, eat. My body's never going to lose its shape, or my waistline is never going to be out of whack. So, you know, I was born with a Gemini body. So, I just got to bulk up because I lose a lot of weight. Lot of weight. A lot of protein. The doctor was saying that if we continue, I'm going to go through what anorexics, unbelievable stuff. And when their stomach closes, they die. There's no reopening the stomach when that happens. So I was at that brink. The skinny spells they've been doing, the death spells they've been doing, all that stuff. And I'm like, it ain't gonna happen. I am God in human form, and I will do what I have to do to get the body back to where it was. You know, the whole body is like a test tube. You know, if you took chemistry in college, you'll understand that it's all about chemistry. And I'm a badass when it comes to chemistry and biochemistry. I know how to reconstruct the body from a chemical level. Believe it or not, even though I don't feel the cigarette, don't feel it in my lungs, don't feel it going in, don't feel it going out, and they do because they're absorbing it. It brings a certain level of warmness. Really, what does it for me is the coffee. And there's nothing like Colombian coffee. Oh, that sounds like a good ad for a commercial for Colombian coffee. I would do it. Especially the way I let it run in my mouth. You're gonna want to taste some of that coffee, even if you don't smoke coffee. Oh, okay. Good morning this Sunday morning. The occult, our planet, the history of our planet. Now, I spoke a lot in my anthropological series. Many of you have read, not as many as I would like, but you really should read my anthropological series. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, I put them in letter E, Because I'm giving you a synopsis of our planetary history. So if you haven't read it, go to my website, because part one is in the website. I actually, because I didn't know that medium.com existed. When they did and I found out about it, I put the rest of the thesis that I wrote after I finished ordering those courses at Columbia, where I did my postgraduate. Then I wrote that thesis and put it online. So I want you to read that. It's anthropology, and Columbia is the best in the world when it comes to cultural anthropology. So you'll know the level of training and education that I have here. And I wrote that, and it of course those in the academic field raved it, but those you might subscribe because I wrote it so you can understand it. I don't think it was a very good reception. Some of you found it fascinating and interesting, and it is. The history of our planet and the way it evolved is fascinating. It's like a baby in the womb. Let me tell you, nothing in nature happens overnight. Nothing. You're born a fetus. You come out the womb when the water breaks, and now begins the slow process of evolution from a baby to an adult. This process is the same throughout nature, including our planet, which is a baby. It is the baby of Gaia giving birth, no different than a human female or some other mammalian species, including plants, that give birth to their young and see them grow and evolve. It's the same thing with not just our planet, but the entire solar system. It's a living, breathing essence of God. And I will describe how the planets came into alignment and being. There's a history, and the mythology tells it, but it tells it through allegorical stories and monsters and blah, 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 blah. For the average human being to understand. But it's non-scientific and it's totally erroneous. But a true occultist will understand what the truth is scientifically. But I told you, humanity was very nascent, very innocent. They didn't know that there were planets out there, or that there was a sun god, or they didn't know none of that stuff. So can you imagine you giving them the true knowledge of the cosmos and how the universe works? They're not going to understand that. It wasn't time for humanity to understand that. Humanity was so concerned with what they were going to eat the next day. They live in huts and tents, not bricks. All that evolved later. They didn't read, they didn't write. They cleaned their asses with their hands and leaves and didn't wash their hands and learned that bacteria were in their feces that can cause illnesses. Understand the gravity of ignorance and innocence in early humanity, right? Which is what we call nascent, like being from Latin meaning being born. It's like a newborn. Humanity in those days was a newborn baby in consciousness. In fact, they didn't even know they had consciousness. Okay? This is evident when we look at the Neanderthal man, then the Cro-Magnon man, and then the first hominids. Humanity had to evolve to what it is today. And we're still evolving. The ultimate plateau in human evolution is to become gods ourselves. No different of a process that the gods ruling now had to go through. Because the gods that are ruling now were once humans. Just talk to a Yoruba priest or a Babalawo from the Santeria. They'll tell you, the gods now, they were humans before, and they reached that level. We will one day be as gods and replace the existing gods that are there, and they know it. That's why, when you read in the Old Testament, you read all kinds of examples where Jehovah is stopping humanity from moving forward too quickly. Don't forget the Tower of Babel. In your face, it puts it in your face. They're building this tower, and that's an acronym. It's now no real tower. There were no bricks, there was no nails, there was no hammers, there was no technology to build such a tower. The tower that they were building was the knowledge of their own divinity through the DNA molecule. If you look at the DNA molecule, it looks like a tower. Jehovah did not want that. Jehovah saw that all of humanity who spoke one language at a time was coming together, figuring things out. And of course, the archons were right there, making sure that they were learning. So what did Jehovah do? He did something which is still in the occult philosophy. We're still trying to figure out what he did. He did a strike. And there was light, spiraling. And all of a sudden, when humanity woke up, they spoke different languages. It wasn't languages, because you have to evolve to a language, but it was like dialects or babble. They didn't understand each other. And this is how language was born. They scattered. They were no longer unified because there was not one single battle language that they can connect to. So they dispersed. And when they dispersed, that's when the colors of the races emerged. White, black, Asian, brown skin, red people. This is how it evolved. That was by default. That wasn't the motivation for Jehovah to do that. He wanted to stop humanity from figuring out the true truth of who they are, gods in human form. So this caused a much slower process of evolution. This is in the Bible, in detail. I'm telling you that Bible, that motherfucking Bible tells it and puts it right in your face. Excuse me. If you don't have occult knowledge and are not initiated into the mysteries, the truth will be running in your face and you won't see it. The story of Jonah and the whale. And many anthropologists and historians and scientists debate, oh, it wasn't a whale, it was a fish. Who gives a fuck whether it was a whale or a fish? None of it is true. Yet the church told us. And now come on, we gotta own this. We bought it. We bought the damn story. We bought that it was a fish or whale that swallowed Jonah with a fucking candlestick for 3 days and 3 nights. If that's the case, how come a whale can't swallow a human being without devouring and eating it as dinner? Like the great white sharks in our oceans. That's a fish. How come it's not eating the humans? It's eating the humans. So obviously, it was not a fish nor a whale that swallowed Jonah. God tells Jonah, you better go to Assyria and forgive the Assyrians. You know the story. And Jonah hated the Assyrians. They were an arch enemy of Israel. And God wanted Jonah to go and forgive them. And so, I can just imagine Jonah being a black man. No, motherfucker. I'm not going to forgive them. No, I am not. You're not going to make me, no, fuck you. No, you got to add elements in it to make it interesting. But Jonah defied God, like so many others did. And they paid with great consequences. Job also defied God. Well, why are you doing this? Why? And God, like, nigga, sit down and let me tell you about the workings of the universe. Even Jesus cried on the cross, Father, why hast thou forsaken me? And God didn't answer. And Jesus, our Lord and Savior, died on that cross without an answer. So there were many, Jeremiah, there were many, Habakkuk, that defied God. They just didn't listen to him blindly. Well, and I'm going to talk about the earth, trust me. Well, Jonah was one of those. Well, don't forget Moses. Moses was probably the worst. Moses cursed God and said, no, I am not going to do it. I will not do it. I won't do it. And from stubborn. And God was angry at Moses. You are stubborn. You are stubborn. And Moses made no apologies about it. But when he struck that rock and that water came out, which created the river Jordan, God was so angry. He said, you have defied me for the last time. You all know the ending of that story with Moses. So there were great leaders there that defied God. I said, I'm not doing this. But they all paid a hefty price. I don't see myself as any different of these great figures, including Moses, Solomon, who also defied God. What about Samson with the hair? And God told him, don't be with these, and it wasn't white women, these women of yellow hair, which was the daughters of Babylon and Canaan. One of the origins of the white races said, do not mix with these women of yellow hair that worship strange idols and gods. But these were beautiful women. Think of a Puerto Rican woman, the white Puerto Rican woman like the one I had in Florida. Or a woman, any white woman is beautiful. Just like any black woman is beautiful, Asian woman, women are beautiful. It's a reflection of God and their different shades. But think of my example, because it's my experience. Think of a beautiful country, Dominican or Puerto Rican woman, gorgeous women, beautiful women. And Samson is falling in love with these women. And that fucked them up. He needed to stay with the Nubian princesses that were given to him by God and not go with these strange women of different culture and different belief systems. It's in the Bible in detail. And you know what happened to him, right? Read the stories. So there were people that defied God. Me, I get very mad. Look what happened to me. And I'm a chosen one. And you all know the kind of work that I do, and I do it with pride. But I've been through all kinds of shit, still am. And sometimes I curse God. Mother, what the fuck is this? What is going on here? Why are you, what? I keep it to a limit though. I keep it to a limit. Because I know where if I continue to be angry and resentful because of what I'm going through, despite the fact that I'm still doing the great work, then I'm going to suffer the same consequences as these other great personal figures. Nothing is new under the sun. Yes, these men were great men and unique men, but we still have great and unique men today. To this day. And you, collective, are a part of that too. Whatever it is that you're going to launch a stamp, when you die, people are going to say, he did this, he did that. Or they're discovering a new antibody that can cure diseases, or discovering a new way of building cities. Whatever it is, like Robert Moses. If you don't know him, Robert Moses designed the city of New York. And there's lots of books written about him and how he designed that city. Okay? Whatever your stamp is, you're going to be remembered and will be deified based on whatever landmark you've created for yourself and for humanity. I mentioned that in my anthropological series, that the earth, even though it was forming, and it was like a blob, wobble, humans still live there. Humanity was still there. Of course, men, like I mentioned in my anthropological series, men did not have legs, and did not have arms, did not have eyes, did not have mouth, anything like that. All of this had to evolve over time. And it had to evolve in accordance to our planet's evolution, not the other way around. We weren't created first and then the planet. No, the planet was created first. And based on the needs of the planet, we were developed to match the needs of the planet. In the Polarian epoch, the earth was not spherical. It wasn't even bicconcave. It was a molten blob, and it was red because there was fire everywhere. And it was spinning, and chunks was flying out into space. It was still forming. And even then, humans were living there. Oh yes. Oh yes. Why do you think it's called the Polarian epoch? Humans or anything could not live at the center of the earth. It was too far away, too molten, and the chunks was being thrown off into space. This went on for millions of years. But at the bottom of the earth, and at the very top, were developed crustaceans, land masses, like Uranus. We're going to talk about Uranus. Scientists don't believe that there was land mass in Uranus, but there was. At the bottom, you had crustacean islands. And it was here that humanity began to evolve. That's what's called the Polarian epoch. Man existed, but at the poles of the earth, not at its center, where it was still spinning and throwing off landmass into space, because the earth's rotation was spinning fast. It was being created like a furnace. Because even the speed of our planet had to evolve to what it is today. That's what's called the Polarian epoch. I'm going to skip. Because, this is heavy. This is heavy. You could read more about it in my anthropological series, where I go from the Polarian to the Hyperborean, to the Lemurian, to the Atlantean, to the Egyptian, and finally our current epoch, the Aryan epoch. Everything evolves and grows. And our planet is like a baby. And as it grows and evolves, so do we. And we resemble the morphology of the earth at the time. If the earth changes its morphology in the next epoch, we are going to resemble that morphology and not look like this. Think of the movie Avatar. The movie Avatar is speaking exactly what I'm saying. And humans will be able to use all kinds of gifts that are today still latent and nascent. And as the earth wakes up in ways unimaginable to us, so will we. And we will reflect that morphology. And this is exactly what the movie Avatar is trying to tell you. It was the most expensive movie ever made in Hollywood. And you have to ask yourself, why would they spend billions and billions of dollars on a movie? Is it because the rich people have nothing better to do? Is it because people are bored with their money? Or are they trying to tell you something? And it doesn't have to take a multi-billion dollar movie for a message to be disseminated to you. But the complexity of the cosmos and the universe, that has to be creatively explained, because there's no language that can describe God really, or even understanding of language fails us here. It reaches a plateau. And when language does that, the mind and intellect also begins to dwindle. So now you have to develop another faculty of understanding that transcends language. Because God is huge, big, great. And there's no imagination on this human level that can grasp that or understand that. in the Bible, Jehovah fighting, he's always fighting with somebody or some group of people, said, I will have the earth stand still for one day. And the earth stood still. It didn't rotate. Now, again, here we go with language. A day is not what it means today. To stand still. That vocabulary, what it meant then, is not what that word means today. The stillness. Oh wait. Do I have that? I had this was something, a handkerchief. I left it in the bedroom. The stillness that they're talking about. The earth it stood still. And so did everything else. For thousands or maybe millions of years. Because a day does not mean 24 hours. There was no clock of rotation that did not exist yet. If there was the sun rod, it was there, and it did not descend, and it did not go back up the next day, because those rotations did not exist yet. Something happened in space, affecting the fabric of space-time, which began the movement of rotations. And very little of this knowledge is known. Very little about it. We don't know what caused it. There's no mathematical equation that can validate it. It is a complete mystery. There was some kind of an explosion. Something occurred. And occultists do not know, and scientists do not understand this. It's beyond our grasp and intellect. It does say in the Bible, the kingdom of God has not reached the imagination of man. It's impossible. Impossible. So we don't know what took place here. But we do know that it jump-started a rotation. And this occurred during the Atlantean epoch, the age of Atlantis. It was then that the earth developed a tilt, which is 23.5. From zero, it went into a tilt. That was significant. Today, that tilt is what gives us the seasons: winter, spring, summer, fall. Without that tilt, there are no seasons. Understand how significant this is. Another phenomenon occurred where the Earth was not completely stable in its orbit. It wobbles. It moves, but it wobbles. Scientists call this perturbation. And it can be measured. It's 1 degree every 72 years. And this is what we call precession. The earth is moving one way, but it's wobbling the opposite way. Like on a string, and it's hanging and wobbling. And that says a lot about the fabric of space-time. It is not static. It's like a blanket, and it moves. And there's another thing. The cardinal signs like Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer, they were not always cardinal signs. In the age of Hathor, the age of the bull, the cardinal signs were not Libra, Aries, Cancer, or Capricorn. The leading cardinal sign was Taurus, Scorpio, Virgo. Oh no, not Virgo. Virgo is a mutable sign. Aquarius and Leo. Those were the cardinal signs of the day. As we move from age into epoch, they changed. Today, the cardinal signs is Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. In tomorrow's epoch, it will be Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, and Sagittarius. Nothing is static in nature. Everything evolves over time. I'm going to leave you with this bit so you can absorb it. And I will have more occult. Let's see if you like it. Please donate, please give, so we can have some more of these fascinating and interesting videos. Guys, thank you. See you in a little while.